April 2026 layoffs have officially hit, and the shockwaves are massive. We're talking hundreds of thousands of workers feeling the impact, as the wave that started in 2024 and rolled through 2025 refuses to slow down. If you think the job market was rough before, buckle up. What's happening right now could reshape entire industries. Let's break down what's going on and what it means for you.
Not so friendly reminder. When corporate tells you to bring your whole self to work, please do not. For example, when they say, "What'd you do this weekend?" You don't tell them that you were dancing on bars or that you were knitting sweaters for your 10 cats. You say, "I kept busy." When Big Boss Boomer John starts hysterically laughing at his own jokes, just laugh along with him. You don't need to tell him that that joke didn't land. Everybody knows. Because here's the thing. Corporate isn't real. This isn't reality. We're all acting and we're all on stage. This is a performance. That's why we have performance reviews. So if you want to survive corporate, brush up on your acting skills. Am I right or am I wrong? Tell me.
Blue Shield of California, Zenith Logistics, Purdue Foods, ERN Services, Boston Electra Metallurgical Corporation, First Brands Group, Geodis, Microvision, iPick Theaters, Goulet Trucking, CJ Logistics, L3 Harris, Supernal, Heritage Bank of Commerce, Angel City Brewery, VCA Bay Area Veterinary Specialists, Monroe Operations, Meteor Correct Creative, Viscon Air Corporation, C3 AI, Safari West, Main Street Sports Group Cincinnati, Rallies, Coppers, Albertsons, Wells Fargo, Lucid Group, Hornblower Cruises and Events, Charles River Laboratories, Westcom Financial, Bloom USA, CHS Northwest, CAT Talent, Liberty Dental Plan, GSXO Logistics, Meta. These are all current jobs that are listed now on the layoff website, warntracker.com. These are new layoffs coming for April 2026. Is your company on the layoff website? You should check. 50% of companies plan on doing layoffs this year in 2026. Hundreds of companies, as you can see, have already filed warn notices, layoff notices. These companies with 100 or more employees are required to file a 60-day notice for layoff. The job market is crashing every day. Our economy is crashing every day. Our economy is in crisis, and it was in crisis before the Iran war. If you found this post informative, please like, comment, follow, and share. I post about the economy, economic news.
I've been in corporate for about 20 years, and the worst thing about corporate, it's not just the office politics. It's not the backstabbing. It's not just figuring out who the snakes are. It's not just feeling like you can't really be yourself and show up as the person that you are, right? If you know. It's how they decide to terminate employees. That's the worst thing to me. I've been laid off about 3 or 4 times, and the last time I was laid off, I got an email about a mandatory meeting, and this just was coming right after a performance evaluation, a merit increase. So everything was fine to me. I thought I was moving to a different team. I get on the call, and the first thing, not only me and like 19 other people, we get on the call, and the first thing the director says is, as of today, you're no longer an employee of this company. To find out that Oracle employees were terminated via email yesterday would be such a slap in the face. Can you imagine? And this is a typical day in an employee's morning, right? You get up late. You're rushing out the house. You drop your kids off to school. You're sitting in carpool. You get in traffic. You're stuck in traffic. You finally make it to the office. You finally found a parking space. You finally found your badge. You badge in. You're rushing to your desk. You get to your desk. You log in. And you have an email saying you're no longer an employee. You don't even have the You don't even contact me in person to tell me. You send me an email. My heart goes out to every person impacted by any layoff with any company, because it's always a slap in your face. It's always a smack in your face. And everybody says that's why you should do something for yourself. Yeah, I agree. But a lot of people are not entrepreneurs. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody just doesn't have that. They just can't. But yeah, my heart goes out to every employee impacted by layoffs. This job market is horrendous. It is horrible. And my heart goes out to them. I've been in corporate for about 20 years. And the worst thing about corporate, it's not just the office politics. It's not the backstabbing. It's not just figuring out who the snakes are. It's not just feeling like you can't really be yourself and show up as the person that you are, right? If you know, you know. It's how they decide to terminate employees. That's the worst thing to me. I've been laid off about 3 or 4 times, and the last time I was laid off, I got an email about a mandatory meeting, and this just was coming right after a performance evaluation and merit increase. So everything was fine to me. I thought I was moving to a different team. I get on the call, and the first thing, not only me and like 19 other people, we get on the call, and the first thing the director says is, as of today, you're no longer an employee of this company. To find out if this is true, that Oracle employees were terminated via email yesterday would be such a slap in the face. Can you imagine? And this is a typical day in an employee's morning, right? You get up late. You're rushing out the house. You drop your kids off to school. You're sitting in carpool. You get in traffic. You're stuck in traffic. You finally make it to the office. You finally found a parking space. You finally found your badge. You badge in. You're rushing to your desk. You get to your desk. You log in. And you have an email saying you're no longer an employee. You don't even contact me in person to tell me. You send me an email. My heart goes out to every person impacted by any layoff with any company, because it's always a slap in your face. It's always a smack in your face. And everybody says that's why you should do something for yourself. Yeah, I agree. But a lot of people are not entrepreneurs. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody just doesn't have that. They just can't. But yeah, my heart goes out to every employee impacted by layoffs. This job market is horrendous. It is horrible. And my heart goes out to them.
So I just got laid off for the 3rd time in my career at the ripe age of 27, turning 28 in 2 days. So I think this is my exit from corporate America, and this is my hard launch into that, because corporate sucks. It's actually a soul killer. So let's do other things. Let's do other things and stop working for the man. So to all my laid off girlies, I'm here for you. I love you. I feel for you. And it's going to be okay.
So I got laid off today. Very unexpected. Don't know really what to make of it. Still kind of in shock, as most people would be. But I've had some time to sit with it and really figure out what this actually means, why this happened, all of that. It's been a very eventful month, and it's something that, this is just adding to a lot of stuff. One thing that I want to share with anyone, one person, just one, is your actual real ability to do hard things. I have lived a fairly easy life. Haven't had a ton of hardships. Haven't had things. There's been several, life things and all of that, and but my life has been much better off than a lot of people that I know, and a lot of people that are out in the world. Um, so I don't have a ton of prior experience. However, right now life is kicking my butt, and it's tough. And losing a job was kind of the capstone of kind of the month, and of, I don't know, it feels like I'm hoping like the end of an era, maybe, or end of a chapter or end of a book. I don't know, whatever the analogy might be. It feels like the end of something, um, but it also feels like the beginning of something as well. And I for a very long time, the job that I just got left, or left from, and I've been there for almost 5 years. It would have been 5 years in July, and to have that happen and for me to like experience it and all of that was eye-opening. I know a lot of other people recently just got laid off. This is not from Oracle. This is from a different company, but another tech company. And yeah, it really sucks. And for a long time, I struggled with empathizing with people, and really sitting in someone else's shoes, and walk a mile in my shoes. I could never do that mentally. I could never do that. Yeah, I couldn't do it. And now going through a lot of things that previously I had not stigmas towards, but just thoughts and opinions, or preconceived notions about those things, and having a lot of those things be happening in my life is really kind of pushing me towards empathizing with people more, and just I don't know, just um, being able to understand what someone else is going through, and truly feel, you know, the problems and the pains that others are going through. So, anyway, all that to say, there is a lot of good that you can do, and you can do hard things, and you can get through hard things. Um, you know, to a lot of people, maybe from the outside, my life is falling apart, and I've been quietly building something and trying to be consistent and show up for myself and do things and initiate new habits and create a new identity and create new habits that ultimately will bleed into the outcomes that I'm hoping for. And I'm trying to work on that. And I've been kind of on this path for the last like 2.5-ish, almost 3 weeks now. And it feels really good. And I feel like this is something bigger than me telling me that you've been preparing for this. You're preparing for this. And I was quietly preparing for, quite honestly, like the worst month of my life. You know, not necessarily, I don't know, a very difficult month. And that's why I like, that's even, I can't even say it's the worst, because I feel that's why I struggle with saying it's the worst month ever, because I feel positive momentum headed into this, which is good. And I felt very down about a lot of things, and it was difficult for me to actually visualize what I wanted, push towards my goals, figure out an identity which results in those habits and those structures and those processes and ultimately into those outcomes that I'm looking for. And I just really struggled with self-identity and struggling with trying to figure out who I am and what I believe and my morals and, who I am as a person. And, I think at times it takes kind of everything getting stripped away and kind of, everything kind of getting pulled away from you, and kind of, losing on to things that you held on to so tightly, and all of those things going out of your control for you to realize that you are not in control, and all you can do is you can control your environment and what you have, but everything else is completely out of your control. And I'm still working on what ultimately that is, but I don't know. I believe that there is a higher power. There is something, a God out there, or something, or I don't know. But I know that I can't do it alone, and I need help. And I've tried doing it myself, and the only thing I can do is call out for help to someone else. I can call on family, I can call on friends, I can do all that, but ultimately it's up to me and my willpower and my ability to do it. I can train up my willpower and I can train up my ability, and that physically and mentally, and that's what I'm trying to do. But also part of that is just really being open and vulnerable and giving up, or having the feeling of giving up burdens and problems to something or someone else. So I'm again still really working on it, and at the end of the day, whatever it is, you can definitely get through it. It takes small steps, but it's going to prepare you for the future and prepare you for what is to come. Because 6 months ago, if you'd have told me, all of these things, I'd be very surprised and shocked. And I know for a fact I would have started training or started preparing or started really putting effort into setting myself up for success when this happened. So I think being intentional with every day is very important. And that's one thing that I always tried to bring into my work life and into what I did is always telling others, and I was coaching to others of being intentional with your messaging and your talk tracks and your everything that you're delivering to customers and all of that. So anyway, all that to say, you can get through it. I lived a life of very, very reactive, borderline lazy at times. However, I was motivated and dedicated to what I did and my job and all of that. But in life in general, I was very apathetic, I think is a much better word, at times. And I realized that I need to be constantly preparing and training and getting myself ready for the next thing, and training my brain, training my body for what's to come or the challenges up ahead, and how I'm going to be able to overcome those. So, you can get through it. I'm hoping there's one person out there who has something that they gain from this. So, thanks.
%35% of Google managers are gone. Guess micromanagement wasn't scalable. So at the recent town hall, guys, Google has announced that it is going to eliminate 35% of its middle management teams. And this brings up the discussion that all of us need to have about how many people can one person effectively manage. Now, I've been managing people since I had a full head of hair and it wasn't white. And I'll tell you that through all of my years, my opinion is that you can't manage more than 12 people effectively. 10 to 12 people is all really one person can handle. Now, you can have 120 people reporting to one person with several managers underneath them, but each individual manager all the way up in the chain should never have more than a dozen reporting to them. Why? Well, the truth is that first of all, you can't connect and maintain good relationships with more than a dozen people at a time. I've had up to 16 before, and that was too many. It was very...
I was one of 30,000 people that was laid off from my corporate job today. Story time. So I work at a big tech company, and honestly, when you hear this layoff story, I bet you could guess where I work.
Oracle has laid off over 30,000 people from its, workforce. Meta is planning to cut thousands of jobs too. I've said this before. I think this is my fifth time saying this. It all boils down to the stock market and market manipulation, profit margin, and all about saving a dollar. So Oracle wants to save billions of dollars for this AI infrastructure. And I've said this before. Everybody keeps saying, consumerism, and these jobs want to avoid paying taxes. That's why they're laying off all these people and they're trying to save money that way. No, it has to do with pleasing investors. And I wish more people would wake up to that fact. They don't care about anything else but making the rich more richer. It boils down to Wall Street. You don't believe me? There was a news channel that did a report on, I want to say it was Nestle. I think they laid off 16,000 people. And in her verbiage, she said they did it so they could make investors happy. I don't understand what it's going to take to get this message out there so more people can understand. But I'm telling y'all now, it boils down to Wall Street. It was never about keeping your lights on, keeping your car note paid, keeping rent or mortgage paid. It was always about protecting the rich and protecting the profit margins and making sure that the stock stays at a certain price. Mark my word, though.
I'm starting to really think that me doing this reorg and getting my beauty room together is by design, because have y'all seen what's going on outside? People are getting laid off, massive layoffs. AI is here. AI is here and it's taking jobs. Oracle, the techie people, they laid off 30,000 people. I see so many people on this app. It's on my timeline. It's going to be on your timeline too. Now that you see this video with layoffs, people are being laid off left and right. My daughter got laid off. People are being laid off left and right. And I'm starting to really feel, for me, like me resetting my living room and getting all these things, like there's a reset happening in my life and there's a reset happening in this world, and it's all like aligning, and I'm seeing the parallels, and I'm just seeing it. Do you see it? This is the time to really, really like hunker down, learn something, learn AI, start to understand. Nobody wants to do chat GPT and all this stuff, but it's here and it's going to take jobs. If you don't know how to tell it a prompt, you better start learning. Just start playing around with it for something simple, because that's all that it is. When you start to order food or stuff online, you don't see those chatbots coming up and it's helping you to figure out your order and stuff like that. AI is here, and I thought we had like another few years, but they're prepping right now. It's like they're saying to us, AI is ready now. We like how AI is right now, and we can take what we have as a baby and grow it more. Side hustles, reactivate.
So UPS is about to lay off 12,000 employees across the globe so they can align resources. According to the CEO on an earnings call, this move will save the company $1 billion, billion with a B. According to the director of financial and strategy communications, in 2023, the economic conditions led to a $9 billion decline in revenue. So they need to right size the global staffing, sort of like a correction in the stock market. So to do this, they're reducing their workforce by 3%, which is roughly 12,000 employees. But UPS reported $2.5 billion in profit in Q4 of 2023. That was a 7.8% decrease from a year earlier. I don't know how anyone didn't see this coming. This comes 6 months after UPS and the Teamsters reached a new agreement, a tentative agreement for a new 5-year contract. I will not call this an unwritten rule, but I will say the ugly, quiet part out loud. Big corporation.
Okay, so Oracle laid off 30,000 employees with a 6 a.m. email, and the subject line read, "Immediate action required, important information regarding your employment." Can you imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning laid off in a 6 a.m. email from Oracle leadership? Nobody got a call with their managers. There was no meeting with HR. Just, "Good morning. I hope this email finds you well. Today is your last day." People were posting their reactions in real time on Reddit and sharing things about how these layoffs have created widespread fear, frustration, and uncertainty among all employees, not just those directly impacted, and that Oracle's approach seems inefficient, okay, because they're offering significant severance packages while continuing to hire new employees. So the mass layoff severance package hiring thing is a conversation for another day because this seems to be a tactic. But someone shared in one of these threads that their dad was let go after 20 years of service with the company, and he was planning to retire in 2 years, and he didn't even get a call from his manager. And if you're the person who shared that on Reddit, DM me because we have to talk. But everyone's reading this news thinking, oh my God, Oracle must be going down. Nope. Oracle did not do this because they are struggling. Last quarter, Oracle posted a 95% jump in net income, $6.13 billion in profit. Their contracted future revenue is $523 billion, up 433% year over year. This is not a company that's drowning. This is a company that is choosing to take on $58 billion in new debt to build AI data centers and then essentially handed that bill to 30,000 workers. And here's what I need you to understand, okay? This is the job market right now. You can do everything right. Spend years at a company, build something, be loyal, do the same thing every day and still wake up to a 6 a.m. email because some guy decides that it's over for you. This is not a you problem, it's a system problem. And if you're one of the Oracle employees hit by this, comment, DM me, find me. Your experience deserves to be heard, and I can make sure it is anonymously or on your own terms.
We're seeing unprecedented levels of growth and success. That means it's time to lay off 30,000 employees. Yes, a 95% increase in our quarterly revenue is the perfect reason to lay off 18% of our workforce. People always complain that meetings should just be emails, so let's do that with these layoff announcements. Let's just send an email out of nowhere. No heads up from HR, no conversation with the manager, no notice of any kind. They'll appreciate our directness. Let's not even sugarcoat the email. I want these jabronis to know that we want them out now. How about, after careful consideration of Oracle's current business needs, we have made the decision to eliminate your role as part of a broader organizational change. As a result, today is your last working day. Brilliant! I love how it lacks any amount of care that we're totally uprooting people's whole careers. And I love that we're freeing up $8 to $10 billion in cash flow. It is so nice not having to pay for people's livelihoods. Ugh. Now we can focus on our main goal, which is making our billionaire executives even richer. Man, not having empathy is amazing.
Look at any company that you know and look at like the highest 5 paid top executives. Super majority of them are going to be men. And 4 out of 5 of them are going to have a long history of paying for sex workers, paying for DOMs, paying for secrecy, discretion. The reason those men don't want to budge from their positions, the reason those men are okay with human trafficking, laying people off left and right, why people have low wages and all that type of stuff, because those men need to keep their type of income at a certain level so they continue to pay for discretion. If you guys look at the statistics of the pornography industry, if you look at the statistics of sex workers, if you look at the statistics, it's high paid execs. And then if you look at the way that they behave, specifically with the layoff models, the tax evading loopholes, and the DBAs, you will almost immediately find that all of these bros are living secret lives behind their titles. They like the power, they like the money, and they don't have a problem helping manufactured struggle. It is what it is. Call it a hot take, but it absolutely is what the fuck it is.
What you just watched is the real impact of the April 2026 layoffs. Not numbers, not charts, lives, families, dreams put on pause. If you've been affected, you're not alone. And if you're still standing, now's the time to stay alert, stay prepared, and support the people around you who are fighting through this moment. This wave started in 2024, crashed through 2025, and it's still reshaping the world we work in. The more we talk about it, the more we understand it, and the better we can navigate what comes next. Share your story in the comments. Spread this video so more voices get heard. And stick around. We're covering every angle of this unfolding crisis. Stay informed, stay resilient. I'll see you in the next one.